Hey guys, welcome back to According To. I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera. And for this week's episode, for really no reason, we just wanted to do like a wedding / Bachelorette disaster themed episode.
I feel like this definitely is more so like after the fact, but like we've got a couple people in our lives who actually even recently too, like we've got like some family members who are recently engaged and just going through like the wedding planning process. So in that regard, like that's why wedding stuff has been a little bit more kind of in our face a little bit. But it's always fun to, like, weddings are such a, everyone has an opinion on them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's whoever's wedding it is, it's like, it's their wedding, it's their day. They get to kind of decide, like, how they want things to run.
Maybe Megan and I
inevitably
can get into some tangents on, like, inevitably we'll probably share some of our own, like, wedding thoughts and opinions. Just generally about weddings, maybe what we see, like, for our future weddings. And
yeah. But it's also a time where, you know, it's not uncommon for, you know, in-laws, family members are also going to kind of like get in the way, make their opinions known. So
butt heads.
It's oftentimes a situation in your life where maybe it's stressful. Maybe there's things going on that you'd rather not have going on. And so I feel like weddings are kind of like the perfect topic of like, there's very much a high possibility like something went wrong in some way, shape, or form or capacity, either during the wedding, leading up to the wedding, in the wedding planning process. And I think that a lot of times it really sticks out in people's minds as just like a grievance that they have. So.
But before we get into all of those, we had you guys actually submit your like personal or like experiences you've heard of, witnessed, whatever. And then if we have extra time, we found some Reddit threads that we might go on and just like look at some general like wedding shaming, and then what was the other one that you found?
R/wedding.
So we'll kind of just jump into some stuff there. Maybe we'll talk about like our own personal thoughts on like what we see for a future wedding. I don't know. This is just a wedding themed episode.
Yeah. Before we do that, we are going to do our weekly spotlights and then our book updates.
Yeah. My weekly spotlight, I think, is going to just be the Iowa game. I think. I feel so bad about like generally I have like such a poor recollection of like the past week that I've had. So I'm like, I just go to the weekend and then I'm like, what happened over the weekend? And I'm like, Iowa won.
I had a nice, this was Friday, I guess, a nice little hiking date. I've been very MIA in regards to like the person I've been seeing. Like TikTok hasn't heard about it.
Oh, you mean like podcast. MIA to the people?
Yeah.
So this is an exclusive for you guys.
Just the podcast, and then like I've mentioned it on the vlog a couple times, I guess, like in the week in our life. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of how I'm feeling about it right now. It's just like keeping it pretty low key and minimal information. But it was nice. We went and did not like a super long hike. There's only so much hiking to do in Iowa, but yeah.
Would you consider Jester Park hiking?
To be honest, like there's some trails there, like kind of ledges-esque. So, okay. Yeah. And then I was going to say the Iowa game as well, because I really
37-0.
They're making me feel a little bit too confident in ourselves.
We have one good game, and all of a sudden Megan's like, Oregon game, everyone?
Well, here's the thing. Penn State, like, because originally, like, going through the season, I was kind of like, Penn State would be a good game to go to, because they're not as good as Oregon, and you know, I just don't really know that we're going to beat Oregon, and I wanted to go to a game where I feel like we have a fair chance at doing an upset. So Penn State, I was kind of like, we'll see how the season plays out, but like maybe tentatively planning on going to that game. It's next weekend now, and like it's kind of like too far gone where I'm like, okay, I really don't think I'm going to go to that one. Although I still kind of feel like we have a good chance of beating them now because of the fact that they've had 2 losses in a row now. Their QB is out now. It's going to be a home game. So now I'm feeling like...
They fired their head coach.
Now I feel like, okay, we actually probably might win against them, but they're not going to be ranked next week anyways. Actually, I think they're already unranked because they lost to UCLA. So now it's like it's not a ranked game anyway. So now I'm kind of like, well, Oregon,
if there is to be an upset, that would be an upset.
They just lost to Indiana. So obviously they're going to go down a little bit because they were number 1. But they lost to Indiana more than we lost to Indiana by.
So by the whatever property in math, we should beat them.
It's a home game, and again, like I just feel like maybe that's now where. So I'm maybe possibly going to that one. We'll see.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that happened this past week. that was a highlight. But I can't. So.
And that's okay too.
Book update wise, I finally finished A Darker Shade of Magic. I gave it 4 stars. I could see myself continuing the series, but I feel like I'll be putting it on the back burner for a little bit, just because I need to finish both of our book club books for October. Atmosphere is going to be my next read, and then I need to read My Friends by Frederick Bachman. So that's like top 2 on my list. And then I'm like, do I do Queen of Shadows? I think I need to like get some nonfiction books in my list. So
I finished Atmosphere, if I didn't already finish it last week, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think I already actually said this because now I'm remembering my ranking.
You ranked it.
I am now reading Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. I'm about halfway through it right now. It's the 3rd one in like the Lakefront Billionaire series is what it's called. And like it's fine so far. I feel like I'm a little bit more indifferent for this series compared to like I liked the Dreamland Billionaire series more. But like she's kind of like an Elsie Silver adjacent author in my mind. So like these books and these series kind of give me that same vibe. It actually just recently came out, which just kind of happened to be how it worked out. But I don't know if I already had it like loaded in my Kindle Unlimited to be like, okay, when it's available, send it my way. Or if I had seen it and then just put it on my Kindle, and then when I was looking for kind of an in-between book between finishing Atmosphere and before going into My Friends, this was kind of like the filler book that I was like, I'll do this and then I'll move on to My Friends. So it's fine so far. I am kind of anticipating just like a 4-star and then I'll probably forget about it. So yeah.
You know, it's funny. This is just like a little book aside. I've been commenting more on specifically book-related TikToks. Because, like, historically, just generally, like, on any social media platform ever, I'm always, like, a viewer. I'm never a commenter. And so on TikTok, I've been, like, trying to be, like, more of a commenter if I have thoughts. So when I get fed book content, if it's, like, people tell me, like, oh, like, here's my upcoming TBR, like, should I bump something up? I've been trying to engage with that content more. And it made me laugh because someone had, like, here's my, like, 3 books in my TBR, like, you know, should I read them? Which one should I read next? And it was 11/22/63. The only one left, I think that's the one that's by Riley Sager. And then there's another one, but like I had read the 3rd one as well. And so I was like, oh, well, as someone who's read all 3, 11/22/63. And then it made me laugh because she responded to me and she was like, oh, like I've heard a lot of good things, but it's like 500 pages. So I'm like, you know,
500 pages.
You know, it's like, you know, intimidating. I'm like, oh, girl, it's more than 500 pages. It's like 800, 900 pages.
Did you respond that to her?
Yeah, I said something like that. But I hope she reads it because it was the best book of the bunch that she had put up there. So, but yeah, trying to, you know, comment on more people's TikToks of people that I don't know. Even like PT stuff. I've seen you comment on a PT one recently. Because it was like
the EMS. It was like someone saying... Someone was sharing like their favorite standardized tests that they like to use for a go-to. And not that this is relevant to any of you guys unless you're a physical therapist, because like who else is going to know this? But there's an assessment called the Elderly Mobility Scale, and I love that thing. Love it so much because it basically looks at like all the transfers and stuff I'm having to do for an assessment anyways, and then it puts it into a standardized assessment that I can score up, and I just love that. So... I had to let her know that it's my favorite.
Otherwise, I don't have any other book updates. I wanted to give you guys a little nail update as far as our curriculum stuff is going. I'm kind of slacking on all the other curriculum stuff that I've talked about.
I've thought about my woodworking thing. I've brought up the idea to my dad as well.
She did. I was a witness to it.
And he didn't really say if he was like for or against. He was kind of like looking. I was showing him, I have like a secret board on Pinterest saved of like my crafty stuff. And he was kind of like, oh, yeah, okay.
So nail update. I feel like you can see the whites of all of my nails. I showed them to Megan. She was impressed-ish. And I feel like at least you're supposed to do like the cuticle oil twice a day, like morning and night. And I feel like having it in my routine has made me more mindful of like not biting my nails. Because I feel like if I am not doing anything to my nails, I will just bite them, and like there's no accountability factor in that. So this has given me some level of accountability because I have to like check on my nails twice a day to see how they're doing with the oil nails. So I'm like, maybe that's part of what I need is just like some level of accountability. Otherwise, like if I just don't think about it, then like they just end up in my mouth, I guess, and I just chew on them. Ideally, I would love them to get long enough where I don't know if it'd be like a regular nail painter.
Have like my nails painted.
Yeah.
But like I simply don't.
So I don't know. We'll see. I need them to get a little bit longer. And like I'd be fine doing it myself. I don't really want to pay to go have them done. But I also want my skin around my nails to get a little bit better. There's some questionable sections around my thumbs and my middle finger on my right hand. But I'm pretty pleased right now. So running update.
I'm getting ready to, I think after we finish recording this, I'm going to go on my longest run yet, which is
sign up for your 5K.
42 minutes. And I'm hoping that I'll get my first 5K done during this run because I haven't had a long enough run to do that yet. And yeah, signed up for a 5K to help hold me accountable. And I will say, like, I am not a runner. I mean, I am a runner because they keep saying, like, my Nike running club coach, he keeps saying, like, you are a runner. So I should own the terminology. But I will say, as being someone who's been very anti-running, like, I am impressed with how much I'm kind of enjoying it, even though it's hard.
There you go.
And yeah, it has kind of been something to look forward to, and I feel good after each one that I finish.
What do you feel like you enjoy the most about your runs?
I think that right now, this might change as like the seasons change a little bit, but like the weather's kind of like almost perfect right now with like just temperatures and it's still sunny out. So being able to like just go do a mindless workout and feel like I'm still working hard and enjoying the outdoors.
Working harder arguably than you do, you know, for other workouts.
And then I've also enjoyed listening to music as well. Not that I do that during my other workouts too.
But you gotta be like more present. Nice. Okay. I think that's everything we need to yap at you guys about for everything before we get into our DMs.
Do we have anything from like weddings that we've attended in the past that have been kind of like a or
I mean
like an oopsie?
Yes. I feel like the one that immediately comes to mind is, I won't even say who because, you know, I don't need anyone to know for sure. But it was an outdoor wedding. And
I already know what you're going to say.
There's two things. One was that it was in someone's backyard. And it was like a small wedding. Like it wasn't like a big to-do wedding where like they spent a ton of money. Like it was supposed to be just like a backyard wedding. You know, let's get married. But someone was like started mowing their lawn during the wedding. And it was like, we like, so that someone from like the wedding, they didn't have a wedding party, but I think someone from their family went to like go be like, hey, could you stop mowing for like 20 minutes? Which we're like a wedding ceremony back here.
It's so funny because it's like, I bet no one thought of that. Like, because
why would you? Like, what would you do? Send a notice out in the mail, be like, please don't mow. And I'm sure like it was no big deal. Like the person stopped mowing and like came back later, I'm guessing. Wouldn't you be kind of like, if I was the person mowing the lawn, I'd be kind of embarrassed. I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The other thing during that same wedding was that I don't know who they found to like.
It was not a personal officiant. Like this was someone that they hired.
Yeah. And he kept saying the wrong name for the bride.
Like multiple times.
So. But it's okay because this couple is no longer together. So it doesn't really matter.
I mean, it does matter, but
yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
You know, whatever.
That's not why they got divorced, you know? That's probably the one that comes to mind most for me as well.
Haley's wedding, I would say there was no like major issues. Like the only hiccup I will say was when we were sitting down as a bridal party, they had an uneven number of groomsmen and bridesmaids. And so whoever I'm guessing was setting the table obviously just like probably was like in, I don't know, just like go mode of like, okay, getting everything set up. Everything's going to be even because why wouldn't it be? And it wasn't even. So like we had like an awkward.
You were like one shy.
Displacement.
A bridesmaid plate and seat, I think.
So.
But it got sorted out.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
But otherwise, I feel like Haley had a smooth wedding. I mean, the only thing was like the wedding or the weather on wedding day. It was supposed to be outside. Pretty early on in the wedding day, we knew like it was going to have to be inside because it was just raining all day the forecast was just like getting worse. But I will say too,
like her wedding was in April, so it's kind of like, you know, ideally outside if possible, but also like especially April showers. Iowa, like no one's really banking on like an April wedding being outdoors.
And they were kind of lucky we avoided a tornado. Like there was like some tornadic activity towards the end of the night. So I'm like, other weddings I've been to recently, I can't recall any major snafus. Which is good. It's how you want it.
That's how you would prefer it.
And I have to give our friend from PT school, Morgan, who we were bridesmaids in, like that was just one of the most fun weddings I've ever been to. It was a great
wedding. Amazing, awesome wedding. Incredible. Okay. I'm going to jump into some of our DMs. I'm just in the all section right now. I'm starting on the bottom.
I'll start on the top.
Okay. So we said again to kind of send anything in regards to, is it wedding related? Is it bachelorette party? Whatever. So we might be kind of bouncing back and forth here. So this person said, my mother-in-law was late to our wedding, missed the whole ceremony, and then spent the whole mother-son dance crying because everyone hates her.
Oh, no.
This is interesting because, like, ceremony-wise, like, I'm just thinking of Maggie had just mentioned this to us, right? Where she went to a wedding, like a friend's wedding.
And they were, like, borderline.
And I think they were, like, late to the ceremony. And so, like, they just kind of had to, like, wait, you know, on the outskirts or outside or wherever, you know, to not disturb anything. But the mother of the groom, like, that's
what's weird
crazy.
about that is, like, they're usually there
all day.
You know, you get ready with them typically. I don't know what your guys' setup
like, if
was.
it's the mother of the groom, like, I feel like you hold the ceremony at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, someone's got to be able to get a hold of her.
Like, was anyone, like, keeping track of her? Like, where's Mary at? You know, the wedding's soon. So, I don't know.
There are certain people where, like...
I could totally understand her being upset. I don't know if, like, you're saying she was crying as, like, a woe is me type thing, just, like, trying to, like, get attention, or if she was crying because she felt bad for missing it. And I don't know if her being, like, everyone hates me is, like, a personality thing that you've picked up on of, like, oh, woe is Mary, everyone hates her. Like, now she's just, you know, wallowing about that and, like, you know, making it about herself. So I don't know, but that would be rough. I don't know your guys' timeline. I agree with you though. Like, if my parents not there, like the wedding is on hold.
Yeah, that's how I
don't know how late she was, but
or like
what your guys' time frame was. Like, you guys need to be done with the ceremony by this time.
Did she need to step out to go just run an errand quick, and then all of a sudden like wasn't keeping track of time?
There's no way. Like on your son's wedding day.
I have no idea. But that
is crazy though.
Shocking.
Okay, this is a bachelorette one, I think. The night before my bachelorette trip, I decided to pull an all-nighter with my friends, and thank God I did, because around 3 a.m. I got a text saying my flight was delayed by hours. I was able to cancel that flight and book the one my friends were on. We originally booked at different times, but then on our way to New Orleans, we had to stop in Jackson, Missouri for like an hour due to bad weather. And then on the day we were leaving to go back home, our flight was delayed again all day. We ended up getting home around 2 or 3 a.m. instead of the original 6 p.m. This ended up being like a day before all of the NYC airports had software outage due to a faulty update and disrupted so many flights. Still was the best weekend of my life. Wouldn't change a thing.
You were telling me that you were flying out day of your wedding? Or
this was a bachelorette trip.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, it was a bachelorette trip. Flight stuff is so annoying, especially like I feel like right now.
Or if it's like a weekend thing too, where it's like any slight delay or interruption, like it's just a weekend trip. So like that's feeding into your precious weekend time. Mm-hmm. And I know there's nothing you can do about it. And like sometimes delays are inevitable. If you guys just watched obviously I talked about it in the podcast, but like in the vlog version, Ciera decided to like skip really my travel woes there.
You guys probably would have appreciated this, I'm guessing. Editor's cut. Megan recorded a lot of like the getting to Jackson Hole, and I was like, I don't think they care about this. So I was like, I'm doing a little montage, and then like you're there. So
but, like it skips all of my woes of like I'm like struggling through the airport.
You have gotten like a good half hour of her just like talking to you guys about her travel woes.
Struggling. And all I could think about was just like, this is only like a long weekend trip. If I'm like not there tonight, then like I'm not getting there till tomorrow, probably like midday. And it just like really was going to mess with my intended plans, which would not have been fun.
Can you think of either, I guess I wasn't thinking of any Bachelorette stuff that we've been on. Granted, we've only had, 2 Bachelorette trips? 3?
But Haley's was so, local, really.
I don't think we had any, Bachelorette woes. The other thing we had talked about this on the podcast where it's our one friend whose wedding I just praised, her Bachelorette trip went so late into the depths of the night. And I was like, you guys, I can't hang. I am so sorry. And I tried not to be a Debbie Downer. I am not trying to be the person who's I want to leave. But I was like, I'm literally struggling to stay awake right now. I need to go to bed. So, but that was quote unquote bad. It was just I can't hang. Yeah. So that was the worst part I could pick out from any of the Bachelorette stuff that we've been on.
Okay, my next one. Maid of honor insisted on no one helping her despite the fact that I lived in the town that it was being held in. Tried to prevent me from bringing my car. And then this is in parentheses. What was the plan when we left and not all of us could fit in the car with our luggage? That was all it said. Do you feel like the maid of honor, how much responsibility do you think they should take on and behold? Because me personally, as someone who was a co-maid of honor with Ciera, I would say I was the leading maid of honor because I did a little bit more than Ciera did.
I feel
but collectively, I will admit,
you did little.
I was not out here trying to being a maid of honor was not my personality trait. And I feel like some people, depending on, I say this as I am close with Haley, but if it's your best friend's wedding, I feel like sometimes
you've been talking about it since you were girls and you're this is what we're doing.
Right. And
well, for the longest time, we didn't think we were going to be Haley's maid of honor. She had some other friends that she was thinking it would possibly be just growing up.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
getting closer to Haley's wedding, we knew we were going to be.
But it's not something that we were oh, you guys are going to be my maid of honor or my maids of honor. And we never
to be honest, even when you're, eventually supposedly my maid of honor, I don't anticipate you really caring at all, to be honest. About
what do you need me to do?
I know. That's just, I think, kind of how we are with it.
Same when, if you're my maid of honor, this is a threat. When you're my maid of honor, what are you supposed to do? Because here's the thing, and this was
to be honest, I feel like I would plan my own Bachelorette trip, to be honest.
Because typically that's maid of honor duty. Other things that maids of honor do would be bridal shower stuff. If I'm being totally honest, I don't know if I want a bridal shower because I just think they're annoying and not very fun to go to. What else do people do besides? Is that it? Bridal shower, Bachelorette trip, wedding. I want a Bachelorette trip, but I want it to be the least Bachelorette trip of all.
I feel like that's becoming more common.
Bachelorette trips. So then.
And we were talking on our Cape Cod girls trip. We were this is the perfect vibe of
my Bachelorette
what
trip.
we would want a Bachelorette
exactly. Trip to be. It's for it'd be oh, this is for Ciera's wedding, but don't treat her any different. She's just
don't
one of
even
the girls.
Give her a bridal sash. Please. Please don't.
She's
give
not
Ciera
wearing any white.
Sash.
Just it's low key vibes. That's what I picture. I would probably have a white outfit of some sort. Yeah. But you know what I mean. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Next one. Someone said, OMG, it's my time to shine. I was not a bridezilla at all, and the only thing I absolutely would not budge on was having Krispy Kreme donuts as my dessert. I really don't like cake and love Krispy Kreme. The closest Krispy Kreme was 2 hours away from my venue. I placed my order a year in advance and touched base the week before to ensure everything was set. My sweet dad was going to drive the morning of the wedding to grab the donuts and deliver them. About 4 hours before the ceremony, my wedding planner, also my soon-to-be sister-in-law, stepped out to, quote, chat with me super quick. She started by saying, everything goes wrong at every wedding. Something goes wrong at every wedding. I was like, that's not what she said. And my heart dropped. I was like, what could have happened? She proceeded to tell me that my dad called right before leaving to get the donuts to ensure they were ready, and the Krispy Kreme voicemail came through. The building had burnt down making her donuts.
No way.
The good news, my dad spent all afternoon traveling around to every donut shop in the small town and buying them out to ensure I had donuts at my wedding.
No.
Oh my God. Not just it burnt, not we're closed, not, we forgot your order, not like we literally burnt down trying to fulfill this order.
I
would be like, I'm not liable for this,
right? But like they can't.
That is God. So like you have to laugh a little bit. I'm sure they had insurance, so I'm sure they're fine.
Holy crap!
But like that is crazy, and you can't even.
Like, no one's gonna top that story.
Be mad.
No one's gonna top the story in this episode. I'm so sorry.
You can't even be mad because it's not like, you know, I was expecting you to say they forgot the order, blah blah blah. Like everyone's mad. They were literally out there making your donuts, trying to fulfill all however many 100 you wanted, and they burnt down. That is crazy. I love that story. I'm sorry to hear it, but that's cute about your dad though, like still trying to find a way to, you know, fulfill your wishes. Obviously it wasn't Krispy Kreme, but
Krispy Kreme is so good.
But like
they're by far the best donuts you can get.
Yeah. But hopefully your other donuts were good. And you guys had a memorable story to share, I'm sure.
Okay. I don't know if this is the bride. I'm kind of assuming yes, because otherwise I'm like, how is this relevant to what we asked you to send in? But someone said, I slipped in the bathtub of the house we were renting and had a massive bruise on my face for over a week.
It could have just been like on a bachelorette trip.
I guess it could be fair. It would be really, really
you know, this reminds me
upsetting to like have some sort of like unexpected like blemish or what have you,
or injury. I saw someone had like a broken arm at their wedding.
Like, can you? I would be so upset.
I would be like so tempted to be like, we need to reschedule.
I would be so upset.
But like that is such like a ridiculous thing to like reschedule for, you know.
And you've done like all the planning, you know, for this day.
And you know what's funny? I think that I don't remember exactly what she broke, but it was like in the point where it's like in a sling. And it was not in a cast or anything. So like she did take the sling off for like a lot of the pictures.
I would too.
But then she like had the sling on for, you know, other times when, you know.
Man, you just like don't expect stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Or like imagine if like there's probably people that have like torn their ACLs. Like, are you on crutches at your wedding? You in a wheelchair?
That would be brutal. The falling in the tub though reminded me. Do you remember when we were in LA
yes.
with Maggie and she?
Story time.
I don't even remember what she did. Did she slip and fall?
I don't know. I don't think she fell. I think she somehow like slammed her head like into the shower wall.
And then she was weird.
Like she got a concussion.
Yeah,
for sure.
But like Maggie used to do this thing. I don't know if she does it still, but she doesn't injure herself around me nearly as much. But when she would like hurt her head, she would just like have uncontrollable laughter. Like, and this was the day before. This is the other thing. It was the day before we were doing the Olympic Media Summit, so interviewing a bunch of Olympians. So we were supposed to be on camera, recording all these interviews, and we were like, is she gonna have a massive goose egg on her forehead when we're doing this? She didn't. It was like no bruise, hardly even. Like, but you could like she hit it hard because I heard it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just a little.
But she was like crying and then laughing and then crying and then laughing.
Do you remember we had like a trash bag of ice and she like put on her head and like leaned back a little bit, but we didn't tie it shut, and so all the ice just like spilled out the back when she laid down. Okay, next one. Once I was in PT school or in a PT school wedding while in PT school and dirt poor. Several of us tried to secretly cut costs any way possible. Think the episode of Friends where Rachel orders a side salad. That was us. Then it comes time for the wedding/batch weekend, and everybody is throwing money around except for those of us in school. We paid over $100 each for the place we got to stay for the batch weekend and showed up to learn that some of us were on a nasty pull-out couch while others of us were sharing nice beds, but with people we didn't know. Also, we paid a stupid amount of money to stay at a hotel the night of the wedding, only to be told at the wedding that we could just have stayed with the bride's family for free, though it was never offered to us. It was a financial train wreck, to say the least. That would be annoying.
That's always tough. I do feel like I'm personally not going to be the person to, like, I understand the living, like, situation during the Bachelorette trip is, like, different, and some people are staying in, like, nicer beds, whatever. I'm personally never going to be the person to, like, kind of, like, split my stay based off of where I'm sleeping. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just kind of saying, like, I probably wouldn't die on that hill.
Mm-hmm. Like you would be fine splitting evenly regardless of where you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like, if I'm being totally honest, I don't know that I would have thought about, like, switching it up either.
I just kind of feel like when you're involved in a wedding, like, you kind of just have to be ready to, like, take whatever comes your way. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
I was going to say, related to, like, splitting costs of, like, expectations for bridal party versus bride. And maybe you saw Monica Church post some stuff about this on her TikTok, maybe. She has a very large budget for her wedding. Good for her. But she was talking about for day of wedding, she is having bridesmaids that want their hair and makeup done pay for it. And I think she did have, like, she's booked the people, so she has to have, like, a certain minimum, like, want to get their hair and makeup done, which I'm assuming she, like, knew ahead of time.
Right.
Otherwise, she said, like, if they want to do their own hair or their own makeup, they can. But I think she was getting some flack for, like, not paying for bridal party makeup, hair. You know, what's your thought, experiences?
I am pretty sure we've always had to pay for our own, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I know we've been in 2 weddings? Right? Just 2?
Yes.
So for Haley's wedding, she wanted everyone to do the hair and the makeup for, like, who she hired, but we had to pay for it, which I feel like is common. So we did that. And then
you didn't have to pay for, she wanted everyone to pay for makeup. You didn't have to pay for hair.
For Haley's? Okay. And then for our friend's wedding, she said, she didn't care about either. Or did she want everyone to do hair?
She didn't care.
Now I'm thinking she wanted people to do hair. Because why would we have done hair?
I don't know.
She didn't care about makeup. So we did our own makeup. Because I was like, having done professional makeup at Haley's wedding, I didn't love it. So I was like, I'm going to do my own makeup. It's not me great, but, like, I'll feel more like myself. And then we still did our hair. So I can't remember if we just wanted them to do it and I paid or if she required it. But I believe we still paid.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's more common to request people pay for that.
Yeah. I feel like it is too. What do you envision for your wedding?
I'm going to get my hair and makeup both done, but it's going to be definitely with, like, trial with people that I get the look I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm anticipating anyways. And then I feel like I have absolutely no hair, makeup, otherwise, whatever people want to do.
That's how I feel. I feel like, you know, the artists and the stylists will be here. If you would like it, I'm probably going to have them pay for it because, like, it's not a requirement by me to get your hair and makeup done. So then have at it if you would like.
Okay, this person has 2 stories, and they're a little bit longer. So they said, at my best friend's bachelorette, we went out one night to explore the local bar scene. At the end of the night, we were getting into 2 Ubers to go back to the house. The bride was in one Uber with 3 girls, and I was in another with 2 of the girls. As we were leaving, I get a call from the other car that the bride was not responding, and they were taking her to the ER. They then hung up without telling me which ER, and of course my phone dies immediately after.
If this is a prank.
The 2 girls I was with were completely obliterated, so the Uber driver and I had to figure out which ER they were taking her to. There were 3 in the area. We made it there, and luckily the bride was okay after receiving some fluids and resting. We all stayed in the waiting room. They wouldn't let us back with her until she was released at 6 a.m., and we had to leave for the airport to catch our flight at 7. A memorable trip for sure.
I thought you were going to say that they were pulling a prank on you at first, and I was about to be so
That'd be a horrible prank.
That is a crazy trip to remember. I'm glad your friend is okay.
Yeah. Second story. I was a bridesmaid in a wedding, and we were sitting at the reception eating dinner when the maid of honor leans over and tells me that the bride and groom did not arrange a ride home at the end of the night. The groom, who had been drinking, was planning to drive them. Maybe this is more common than I thought, but every wedding I have been to, the couple has left in some sort of hired car. We ended up ordering them an Uber to leave in and organizing an exit, which turned out just fine. It was just crazy to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like every wedding I've ever been to, they've been like, oh, then the couple leaves in this send-off and they're driven away. Like, It's never, the groom's like, all right, get in. Like, we're going to the hotel. You know, mostly for, like you mentioned, you know, everyone gets hammered at their wedding and is not safe to drive. So having
I'll be the DD at my wedding.
Literally. Like, I'll drive us home.
I don't like driving, so I actually won't.
I'll have a hired car. We're both stone cold sober in the back. Drive us home.
Take us home, please.
Okay. Next one I have. It's a short one. My sister-in-law forgot to pack underwear for her wedding day, so a friend who wasn't in the bridal party had to go shopping that morning in a pretty small village with not many options. It's the little things that you forget. I just saw, do you know Victoria Garrick Brown's friend, Aubrey Gavello. It's just her wedding this past weekend. I know. It's everywhere. And she did a video of like everything she was packing for the weekend. It seems like so much stuff. I'm sure I would forget something. Like she was saying like all like the little things, like here are the signs that we need for this table, and here are, you know, all of my white shoes that I'm bringing. Like I know you have a list that you probably made a million times and like checked it once, checked it twice. But, and again, depends on the size of your wedding, depends on what you're doing. But it just seems like so much stuff to remember. And she's like, don't worry, my mother-in-law or my mom has these that they're bringing. Like, I know you guys are asking, like, you know, you're going to ask, where's this? It's handled. And I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about that. So.
Okay. Someone said, my friend had a family friend who just started an at-home bakery and make her cake. It was supposed to be chocolate with vanilla frosting, and the person accidentally made it vanilla with chocolate frosting. So she had a giant brown wedding cake, but it was a family friend, so she couldn't get upset.
Aw. I bet it tasted good.
Not as good as chocolate with white frosting would.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's a small thing, but it's like,
I would hope after the fact if she like brought it up, like she would, I don't know if you guys bought it, but like, you know, she'd give you like a little discount. What are your thoughts on people saving their wedding cake and eating for the anniversary next year?
Personally, like, I don't see the appeal.
Right? I'm like, surely after my wedding day is over, if there's extra cake, I'll be like, just toss it out. Or like maybe we'll save it for like a week, you know, we'll nibble on it here and there.
I don't know. I
don't see myself saving. Also, is it like it's in my freezer? I'm supposed to save a spot in my freezer, my valuable freezer space for a wedding cake slice? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't care to do that.
And I've heard people say it doesn't even taste good. So why would we do that?
I'm not doing that.
Okay, next one I have. For my sister's batch in Chicago, we booked a, quote, cute dinner cruise. We thought it was going to be a relaxing view of the city. Unfortunately, we forgot to read reviews before booking. Needless to say, it was an experience. They blasted rap music the entire time. People were grinding on each other, and the toilet on the boat was overflowing. It definitely made for an unforgettable night. LOL. Ew. Could you imagine? This just reminded me of, like, I don't know if they have this in Chicago, but do you know, like, those boats that they have that are, like, the speed boats? Or, like, it's like a roller coaster boat almost, like, on...
Well, no.
I don't know how to describe this. It was like they had one like this in San Francisco, like on Pier, whatever we were on, Pier 39. And it's just like one of those speed boats where it's like supposed to be like an adrenaline rush.
Okay.
It would have been funny if they like actually booked one of those. Mm-hmm. You like all get dressed up super nice. Have you seen TikTok videos of people like, oh, like, you know, getting dressed up for my sunset cruise, and like they totally like misread like what the boat was supposed to be, and they have to like climb in the water like to get on the boat. Ooh. And like wear a life jacket.
That's funny.
So
you got to make sure you're getting like a catamaran or something.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other?
I think we've merged into the same spot.
Okay, we've got a little bit of extra time, so let's try to go on some of the Reddit threads.
I will go on. I guess I'm trying to. Okay, I'm on one that says worst wedding disasters you have seen and what caused it. First, I'm going to read this person and see if. I haven't been to many weddings and will only be planning one in my life. Would love to learn from the experiences from others to get ahead of any issues with my event. I'm currently anxious about whether feel like I am tempting the gods with an outdoor wedding, but will plan for it at least. So let's see what people say in the comments. All right. First person says, mother-in-law got too drunk and severely broke her arm. It was our wedding. Still the best night ever. Sometimes just happens. Can't control others. Just your reaction. You sometimes see like just people getting hurt at a wedding, and like obviously they don't intend that, but what a bummer of an event. I feel like then do you go with your mom now to like the hospital? She just broke her arm.
I would honestly hope your mom would be like, don't come. You know what I mean? Like,
don't worry about it. You go enjoy the night.
Yeah. Like, yeah, your arm is broken. It sucks. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, you know, I get one wedding night. I'm sorry you broke your arm. I'll see you tomorrow.
Go to the hospital.
You know,
you got something to take care of.
That's what I would say. And I'd hope that the mom or mother-in-law, whoever, would, you know, respect that and be like, yeah, I get it. This is my bad. I found there's a Reddit wedding drama Reddit. So this is kind of a long one. My mom is pre-inviting people to my wedding. I haven't even started planning. So I just got engaged. Very exciting. However, I'm dreading the planning because I'm very confident my mother will try to take over everything. Picture a big Italian wedding. It's a whole show. My parents had over 500 people at their wedding, including fifth cousins and neighbors were all invited. Both sets of my grandparents came from Italy. So yes, I get pressure from both sides of my family. My fiance and I are very quiet, lay low, avoid parties type people. When we brought up our idea of a destination wedding to my parents, my mom almost passed out. Besides the, quote, absurd idea of getting married out of the city, apparently 100 to 150 people is not enough and we need to invite everyone and their dogs, although I would much rather have dogs in attendance. The funny thing is, you always read horror mother-in-law stories and never think you'll end up with one, let alone it being your own mother. My soon-to-be mother-in-law is actually really chill with all the wedding stuff, so I'm lucky in that sense. I witnessed my mom on multiple occasions recently tell people that once we pick a date, she'll let them know and for them to expect an invite. Literally inviting people left and right without even discussing it with me. I'll be talking to her during the day and randomly off topic. So do you think you're going to invite great Aunt Tina? It would be really nice to have her and family there. She really wants to see you get married. Love Aunt Tina, and I'm sure she does want to be there, but why would she, or where would the invites end? I'll kind of end it there because that kind of gets the gist across. And this has been something that we've talked about.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ciera and I have ventured down, like, just in, we've had people in our family, like, pretty immediately close to us, like, get married. And then obviously it kind of is just like, who they're inviting to their wedding. Does that mimic who's going to be invited to my wedding? Because in some ways you'd kind of be like, I'm sure my parents would be like, yeah, of course it would mimic what?
Mom and dad? My dad's not listening. You may be surprised.
And just like, don't be surprised if it's a smaller list than that.
And here's the thing. I do think there is some expectation with if parents or whoever like helps out with paying for the wedding, like they get so many invites that like they get to make sure people come. And I haven't decided how big I want my wedding to be, what size it will be, how much it will cost. Like obviously I haven't thought about any of that. At this point in time, I don't expect anyone to help pay for my wedding. So that being said, that would make me solely in charge of who gets invited. And
I feel like sometimes we overextend invites based off of someone's like technical relationship and label when like really there's no, like they're not in your life really at all. So like that maybe means you don't necessarily need an invite. Mm-hmm. That's my thought process on it.
Mine too. Like if I don't see you more than once a year, like why would you be at my wedding? It's a good thought.
Okay. Someone else said, we had 2 funny but OMG moments happen at our wedding, and then 1 WTF moment. So, the OMG moment. My little brother screamed out, boring, during the Lord's Prayer at the church during the ceremony. I just saw a TikTok. This, like, just kind of made me think of it, but it was like, it was someone in the audience of a wedding video, and they're zooming in on the best man's face as, like,
they're, like, singing?
As the priest was, like, singing some sort of prayer. And I'm guessing this was a Catholic wedding because, like, that's the vibe it was giving. And if you're not Catholic, then you don't maybe know, like, the tone of, like, the sing-songy voice that the priest will use. But it can be kind of like
holding one note for
it can be a funny type of sound. And the best man, I don't think, was prepared for that at all. So he's, like, holding in a laugh. He does hold his laugh in. He doesn't break character, but
I just saw a video. It was also at a wedding. But I can't remember, like, it was just, like, some, like, sound of, like, music burst out. And it was, like, a rap song or something.
I saw that, too.
What song was it?
It was, like,
it was almost like...
It was a, like, pop hip song. Like, it was not... It was Usher, actually, or something. It was, like, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And it, like, stopped. They stopped it before it kept going.
But then, like, funny. The bride, like, side eyes, like, what was that? And I don't know what it was.
Okay. Then they said my uncle got super drunk and my boss dared him to run across one of the tables at the reception and he ended up knocking the table over. This caused a moment of panic because we had lit candles on the table, but luckily a fire didn't start. The funniest part of this was his defense was that he was dared to do it and he's a lawyer, so definitely not the best defense.
Coworkers at a wedding?
Huh?
Coworkers at a wedding? What are your thoughts?
I lean no, unless I see them outside of work.
That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I have one. You ready? Quote, it says, surprise, dry wedding and no dancing. I've just attended a wedding with no drinking or dancing. What made this worse is that we had no idea since it wasn't on the invite or wedding website. I'm not sure what's an acceptable wedding gift after this encounter. Known the bride distantly for a year or so. For context, I've been to so many 50 or so dry weddings before due to cultural or religious norms outside of the USA. However, those weddings compensated alcohol with a great time on the dance floor, dancing, hooting, hollering, etc. We had to travel a long way to get to this wedding, and we were shocked to learn that there was no alcohol during cocktail hour or throughout the night. I didn't mind, but once the reception started and I saw people sitting and drinking coffee and
crazy.
There's bad music and food, I knew we were doomed. It was disappointing because we drove in dancing to 70s and 80s classics, and we were ready to hype everyone up. On the bright side, I will never be blindsided by surprises like this again. I'll always be prepared. P.S. Before anyone says, oh, you can't enjoy one night without drinking or dancing, blah, blah, blah. They're just talking.
That's kind of what a reception is, though. Like, what do you call, like,
I have to say, you guys, and I know no one, like, everyone says this, but, like, no one can truly control, like, what their reception vibe is like. But, like, and again, this is me saying, will I have a reception or not? I don't know. But if I do have a reception and, like, people are just, like, sitting at their tables, oh, my God, I'm going to be disappointed. Like, and I try to be, I try to be the guest that everyone, wants at their wedding. I try to be up on the dance floor basically, like, the entire time.
You just don't want to have no one dancing at your wedding. If everyone made the decision to be sitting down because they don't feel like dancing, then you're going to have a very awkward reception. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for other people whose wedding I'm attending. So for the most part, like, I really do be up on the dance floor like 75+% of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm like, sometimes I don't know these songs, I just sway side to side.
Yeah. And I feel like, what do you envision? Like, let's say you're having a reception. What is your plan to, like, getting people on the dance floor is the hardest part. Usually, it's also, like, when it's still light outside and, like, there's, like, this awkwardness of people, like, not wanting to be, like, perceived dancing. So what's your, plan if, like, you had to come up with a plan to get people on the dance floor?
I don't know. I would probably go through a couple iterations in my head of, like, what would be the best approach. Because here's the thing. I know some people do the reverse of, like, who's been married the longest to then get the most people out there. But, like, I kind of still like
the classic way of doing
like,
it.
everyone's out here. And then, you get down to, like, the last couple. So I kind of still feel like doing, something like that first, like, after first dances or something. And then, I don't know. Cha-cha slide would be, like, usually I feel like for a first song, though, like, I don't know that people usually use that for, like, a first song.
It's usually, like, when it's like, okay, guys, we need to be, like, get out here. Like, we're a few songs deep. Y'all should be out here, but you're not. So everyone knows a cha-cha slide. You kind of have
to do your best. Like, I would hope that my audience is, like, receptive enough that, like, if we just pick, like, some good bops to start off with, people will
like,
get
you could do, like, I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston. Right. You could do some ABBA.
People like ABBA. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Like Dancing Queen. Like, those would be...
like I would just kind of, like, test the waters first without necessarily doing, like, a ploy.
Like, yeah. We're not trying to get on the dance floor. You just want to go up there, So, I think those would be, like, good. Like, those are songs that I think of, like, at a wedding. Like, okay, everyone's up, At least the ladies get up. Yeah. And the ladies pull their partners with them. So... And, like, you could still, like, have fun and dance to that. It's still light outside. And then,
yeah.
I think that would be a good transition. Was that mine or is that? I think that was mine.
Okay. This person said, my maid of honor was going through a terrible breakup during my wedding. She held it together so well all morning, but after her speech at dinner, she got crazy, blackout drunk. Basically ended up screaming at a bunch of people late night at the after party, including my husband's cousin. Basically telling him he didn't belong. I don't know. I wasn't there. I had already gone to bed. But it caused a huge scene the rest of the weekend.
I don't really have any. I don't have anything to add to that, I guess. Dilemma over not wanting to change my wedding date to suit my sister-in-law. For context, my fiance is English and I'm Peruvian. We met and live in Australia, which is where we are getting married. It's been extremely hard trying to come up with a wedding date that will suit both our families who live outside of Australia, taking into account their budgets and work, study schedules. It will be a destination wedding for most of our guests, so we are allowing a year for my fiance's friends and families to be able to come to the wedding at his request. My personal preference would be to have the wedding earlier since I'm 37. I don't want to be another year older when I get married and start trying for a family. Again, it's personal preference to start trying for kids once married. I know this might make things harder for myself, but it's what I value. Back to the wedding, we finally settled on a date for 1/9/2026, which I'm assuming is September 1st, 2026, based off of like, dates. Yeah. Right before my 30th birthday in September. Okay, correct. Although my fiance would have preferred a later date in October, he agreed, although a bit begrudgingly, for September. Trouble started when we were on the date by his sister, who said she would not be able to attend because our date is a day before her daughter's first day of school. My fiance now wants to move the wedding date back to late October to fit in with midterm school holidays in the UK, or push it forward to August. Because of the weather, it's still winter in Australia then, and we are planning an outdoor wedding. I don't feel comfortable moving the date to August. Also, I feel like my fiance is being bossed around by his sister, who is older, being more empathetic to her cause rather than understanding where I'm coming from and why September 1st would be the ideal date for me. All my family members who live overseas have expressed their willingness to come to the wedding no matter the date, so I'm a bit surprised at my sister-in-law's attitude, considering a couple of years ago my fiance and I dropped everything in Australia to attend her wedding in the UK. Although I do partially understand where she's coming from, this is meant to be, quote, our special day. It feels wrong for her to be dictating it to her convenience. It would be upsetting if she doesn't come, especially because I know how much that would affect my fiance, but it feels wrong budging on this.
The daughter can miss 1 day of school to go to the wedding.
2 days of school, because it's the day after.
So sorry.
Maybe 3. I don't know. The daughter, she's young enough. She can miss school.
It'll be okay.
I agree. Should I see what people say?
Sure.
Someone said, I would just elope. You're trying to please too many people, and it's unrealistic. First day of school is a milestone, and I understand why your sister-in-law is upset. If having family in attendance is important, keep trying to find dates that work. Why not in the summer? Someone's like, yep, do a courthouse wedding and then spend big bucks on the honeymoon. In the UK, parents get fines if their kids miss school, depending on how strict the school is in reporting it, of course. If they do, it's monetary fines, and then court if too many absences. If your sister-in-law has to bring the kid over for the trip, that will most likely be a couple of weeks, since the journey from the UK is 1 day minimum travel. I assume they would stay at least a few weeks. Are they getting married in
Australia?
Yes.
Ew.
You didn't take that into account?
I missed that.
I mean...
Okay, well, then this kind of reverts back to our international wedding norms of kind of if that's what you wish to do, you kind of can't bank on anyone being able to make it.
Yeah. I mean, some people are saying do it later, or could you do it earlier? Like you said, you want to get married as soon as possible. Could you do a month prior and school hasn't started? She's not listening.
So that's Ciera's tip for you. Maybe it's 2026. So I was going to be maybe she's married already. Probably not.
No, next year. I think that's all that I had to share.
I think we can call it good.
Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you are in the midst of wedding planning, if you have any Bachelorette stuff that you didn't get to share when we're posting on our story, you can comment some stuff on the YouTube video. You can comment stuff on the episode post, and feel free to share with everyone.
With that being said, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.